Hello and welcome to another Make a Code Monday video. My name is Max, a programmer from the Innisfil Idea Lab and Library. And today I would love to show you how to make the microbit make beep boop sounds, make some music, make some little digital chip tunes, and let's get started. So of course, here we are using the Make Code editor with the microbit. You can find that at makecode.microbit.org. Here, I'm already in the middle of a brand new project, and we will start by using some input blocks. So using the input drawer, I'm going to pull out a on, a pressed, and I'll duplicate that a few times. I have a plan. I want to use a few different button presses, and then I'll just, of course, make sure that they are all labeled something different. So on button A pressed, on button B pressed, on button A plus B pressed. The idea is here we can make a little microbit jukebox where each sort of button triggers a different sort of sound or manipulation of the sound. And so when you want to make music with the microbit, lucky us, there's a drawer labeled music in the toolbox. So click on that. And there are a lot of tools here, a lot of different ways you can play melodies. If I want to do it the simplest way possible, I can use the play tone block. And so with the play tone block, I can just choose a note. And so the note on the piano is there, and I can say, high C, middle E. The fun part is you don't really need to know all there is to know about music. You just need to know that on this kind of piano representation, notes get higher on the right and they get lower on the left. And we can even hear the note as we pick it. And there we can see a numeric representation. That's the frequency in hertz of the note. So you can, manipulate that with a variable perhaps. But for now, we're just going to pick a note. And we can change how fast the note plays based on the existing tempo. So quarter beat. I'm going to duplicate that a few times, duplicate that a bunch of times. And then I'm just going to choose some notes a little haphazardly. I'm not too concerned exactly what they are for demonstration. And so we have 4 notes in a row. And then if we see in the simulator, the representation of the microbit changes a bit, showing you how to get wired for sound. And so you could, for sure, connect some jumper cables to like a headphone jack, or you can plug these into a breadboard where you can use a little maybe like piezo speaker, which is a small kind of metal vibrating disc that makes sound. But for us, we can just use the simulator right now, which is great. So on button B pressed. Pretty good jam, if I do say so myself. We can loop it. Of course, all the programming constructs that are here, like looping and logic, we can use with our music. And so I can repeat that 4 times. And maybe I'll put a little sting at the end there, a nice low note for a little longer period of time. And now when we press the B button, not bad. So you can make something pretty complex with these blocks for sure. And of course, the ability to kind of loop in between or do things makes these play tone blocks pretty useful. But anything more complicated than that, you may be interested in the play melody block. And so the play melody block can be dragged into, well, any old thing, A and B pressed, sure. Here we can pick the tempo, but also when you click this larger bubble, we can draw out a song. And so now, when you press done, we can give that a shot. So pretty good. Definitely easier to make longer compositions this way. What I find interesting though with this block is that you can pick, kind of a selection of notes, of course. I'm going to make a really short one, just these 4 notes. And then we can just change the tempo to be 500. That's what the scale goes to. Or, something like 2000. And so with the scale of, tempo of 2000, we get a nice little kind of like blurp sound effect. Let's make that even shorter. There we go. Great. So, in your game, that might be a nice sound effect like the sound you get when you get a point or, do something fun. Anyway, I like it quite a bit. What you might notice, though, that's kind of funny is the tempo is a kind of global variable, let's say. And so now that we've pressed this to get to 2000, the B button plays this at 2000 also, so it doesn't sound like our composition anymore. So maybe under the music drawer, we should pull out the set tempo block to kind of just reset what that is. And so now when we press the A and B button, and then press the B button, it plays what we were kind of expecting it to play. With the idea in mind that the tempo value applies globally, we can kind of use that to our advantage to have a little fun. And so on the on button A pressed, we can pull out from the music drawer, instead of set tempo to a particular number, we can change the tempo by a particular number. And so by putting that in the on button A pressed, now when we're playing our kind of longer jam here with the B button, we can speed it up. Reset it. Anyway, that's some fun I like to have, here and there. But I hope it shows that you can use maybe your other blocks, like the logic blocks, to set the tempo to a particular thing, depending if maybe, if you're making a game or something on the microbit, maybe the music gets faster when something dangerous is happening, for example. The last thing that I'll show is just how kind of these blocks can be used together with the forever loop. And so the forever loop, of course, happens right after the onStart block runs, but the forever block runs forever. It's a big old loop. And the way that the microbit event handling works, if you were to put some images here, so let's say I was going to make an animation or something play during my song, or if that's something that I wanted to happen. If that's something I wanted to happen, and I put that over here, just to say, if I was going to play this now with the B button, it would force the music to stop every time the animation plays, which is not what you want in your animations, I'm gonna guess. And so let's get this out of here. Yes, so the point of that was just to show that the animations that exist while the music is playing in the kind of given event handler actually stop the music to trigger the screen animation. But the funny thing is, those same animations in the forever block have no bearing on what's happening to the music. So now our animation can play smoothly, and when we press the B button, it has no effect and just keeps on going. And so, let's just finish off this animation here. Get a little bit of our sunglasses guy kind of just rocking out to the music, perhaps. So there's my kind of cool dude wearing sunglasses. I'm going to make him bob his head a bunch of times. I'm going to loop this over here. Okay. So now we got our cool dude jamming to the music, shaking his head. We got our great track. Pretty good, pretty good. And so that's really all I wanted to show you today. these music blocks, I hope you'll find an opportunity to use them any old place to increase sort of the texture of your game or whatever project you're working on. So yeah, so thanks so much for joining me today, and I hope to see you on the next one.